Alright, as usual, as is tradition, every few months, I think it's time we talk about SR characters and how useless they are. Of course, this is because we just got a new SR character, so I think it's fitting to go over this. First of all, I'm not gonna be making a guide or adding any SR characters to the tier list because it's just worthless. Literally, all of them will be at the bottom. And then second, when it comes to blue characters, I am not even adding them to the website because again, Shift Up has made pretty clear they will never buff lower rated characters. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Lily, why she sucks, and why SR characters in NIKKE are so bad, and I hope they stop making them. It just makes no sense to keep making these characters. Before we start, hello nerds, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's rant, SR units. So first of all, SR characters. We haven't even gotten that many since release. In fact, outside of the collaboration SR units, I would dare say we've only gotten one. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, right? And that would be Nif. Absolutely criminal that this girl got an SR version and was completely abandoned. Absolutely criminal. Which, by the way, she used to have actual usage on Gravedigger early on. Because on Gravedigger with enough shotguns, so you could be using her in there, and of course she has a good waifu. But yeah, absolutely criminal, and most people even forget she's. But SR characters have never been added outside of NIF, and then of course the collaboration ones. But even the collaboration ones, there is not a single SR in this game that you can use meta-wise. I'm not talking about PvP. On PvP you can use Anise, since she's like a really good battery for her first generation, and I think some people still use Pascal. I am not 100% sure. I'm talking about PvE, which is what the majority of the player base cares about. Alright, I'm not saying there is no PvP users, I'm saying the majority of people don't care about PvP. So when it comes to PvE, literally zero usage for any SR. If you're starting out, there is a few that will be decent, like be it for example Anise, like be it for example N102, like Nif if you have her, which you probably don't, etc. But when it comes to these girls, they are just trash, right? Their kits are abysmally bad. They just suck ass. Let me show you this at level 10 actually, by the way. Lily's design, it's really good. I love her idle pose. So it's a pity that we will actually never be able to use her because there is no reason to. Decent jiggles, I don't really like her shooting pose, but her idle, I love a lot. Her kit, so we understand how bad this is, right? First of all, an active buff on a 15-second cooldown, and it affects one random ally for 5 seconds. And this is caster's attack. Caster's attack on a support unit. Then, second, all allies cover repair by 10% on a 15-second. You might be thinking, oh, literally is also an active skill. Yeah, but it's 1,000 times better. CDR, all the buffs. And then lastly, her burst. 40-second B2, making it useless already, right? One random unit, you will rebuild the cover, increase attack only for one character. And then if there is no one that has lost their cover, she will increase instead 40% attack rather than 20. Her kit is useless, there is no usage for this. A new player could be using her? Yeah, absolutely. A new player can use Mihara and they will be progressing, it doesn't matter, right? This is not the point. The point is, SR units are as bad as some of the day one SSR characters. So for example, a good comparison that I always like to put, or a good example, is Mary. This is a character that is trash. This is a character that has no place in the current meta, and unless she gets a treasure, will never be used. So speaking of treasure, that's also something that I believe is worth mentioning. I would love if the SR characters were to get treasures at some point. A treasure for Nif, a treasure for Eder, a treasure for Delta, a treasure for... These are normal characters that will never get them, but you know what I mean. Treasures are a good idea. Treasures are a good idea to buff units, but they are an awful execution. They are pretty slow, and a lot of them are actually not even worth building, right? The other reason I believe we should not be getting any more SR characters in the game, and they should stop making them, is because it would be better if they were just SSRs. A free MLB SSR. You might be thinking, wait, but why would they be giving free SSRs? You know, it doesn't benefit them. But the reality is that the 160 wall doesn't matter anymore. The 160 wall, it's a lot easier to break nowadays. Not only it's a lot easier to break nowadays, but I am 100% sure the 160 wall will be removed in the future. And the SSRs, the limit will be 200 base copy. Absolutely. In the future, it just doesn't make sense to attract new players that will be stuck on a 160 wall for a couple months. No fucking way, because they want to keep bringing in new players. Imagine right now a new player has to catch up to level 500 players, they are never catching up. Imagine in another 2 years, right, or another 2.5 years, they would have to be catching up to probably level 800 more or less, right? I assume it's gonna be 800 probably by the time. Maybe 900 depending how much you spend, like light spenders, free to play, right? So they will never be able to catch up, and I'm 100% sure they will be removing the 160 wall. Meaning, why are we making SR characters when they could be SSRs that are just usable? I'm not saying good, I said this multiple times, I don't think every character needs to be Rapid Red Hood, but I believe that free SSRs and free SR characters should be as good as Snow White. Snow White Innocence Day is a character that when she came out, she was given for free MLB on, I don't remember what anniversary, whenever it was. But this is a character that was actually decent. You could use this when you started playing and she will help you. And even if you were to actually invest in her, you can't use her in Iron Weak raids. Is she gonna underperform in contrast to the meta DPSs? Of course, but she is a good filler character. She is a good filler character. For free, this is what I would expect the standard of most SSRs to be. Sadly, it's not gonna be the case because balancing in this game sucks. But in my opinion, those are like the reasons why we should not be getting more free SRs. First of all, you will never use them unless they are your waifu and unless you are high level, because a new player, by using a couple characters they like, if they are bad, will not progress in campaign. You already know how long it takes to progress in campaign already. So now imagine if you are actually, instead of using, if you don't have Hell Treasure, Crown Naga, you're using Lily and another B2 you like, Lily and Mori, because you like both of them. It's fucking trash, you're not making progress with that, right? So progress in NIKKE campaign is awfully slow already. These characters help nobody and it doesn't make sense. They are never gonna be getting treasures because shift up is pretty slow. And I believe, in my opinion, it would be better if they are just free MLB SSRs, because the 160 wall should be removed already. They will end up removing it 100% in the future, but I believe the sooner they do it, the better, right? So honestly, just wanted to rant a little bit about this because it tells me that characters that have such good designs, like Lily, like Neve, if you like Eder or other SR characters, even some of the blue units, right, have really good designs. But who are gonna be using them if you are not Ironblood Commander? Shout out to Ironblood Commander, right? No one. And it's a pity because I believe waifu collectors and casual games, which is what Shift-Up wants to be, Dave has said this 1,000 times himself, right? And they do this every time they update the game and add new content, etc. Should allow you to use characters you like rather than focusing on pure meta. NIKKE feels like a competitive game that they try to sell you as a casual game. Every single time they try to tell you it's a casual game, but if you try to play like casual, your progress is gonna be hindered, fucked. But it is what it is. Enough ranting about low rarity characters. Please shift up, move them, alright? I wish I could use Neve. That's it. That's gonna be for this one. My god, she is good. I'm gonna be out. We're gonna be live as usual every single day. Link in the description. Love you all bastards. Good luck with your pool dinner dates. I'll see you in the next one.